Okay, we're about to start the public meeting on the bond issue. We're going to move the podium down here just like in any other council meeting. Once it opens up for public comment, since we have so many people here tonight, we probably need to time each person's time at the podium. So state your name and you get 3 minutes. And if you see me doing this number, that means you have 1 minute left. Thank you. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Matthew. Now we're about to call the meeting to order. But before we begin, I kind of split this up, even though our agenda didn't say it. Let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. You may be seated. Roll call vote, please, Tammy. Roll call, please, Tammy.
Long. Here. Jones.
Here.
Red.
Here.
Hillenberg.
Here.
Cope.
Here.
Reed.
Here.
Weber.
Here.
Waymack.
Here.
Thank you, Tammy. I need a motion to read the ordinance by title only.
Motion to read ordinance by title only.
Second.
I got a motion from James, a second from Matt. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Long.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Red.
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes.
Cope.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Waymack.
Yes.
Thank you, Tammy. Tammy, could you read ordinance number 12 of 2021?
An ordinance calling a special election in the city of Cabot, Arkansas, on the questions of issuing bonds under Amendment Number 62 to the Constitution of the State of Arkansas for the purpose of refinancing and financing the cost of capital improvements, levying a 1% sales and use tax for the purpose of retiring such bonds, and prescribing other matters pertaining thereto.
Thank you, Tammy. I just want to let everybody know, too, that Stevens is here, Jack Trumper. If you'd stand up, please, sir. Thank you. We got Taylor and Ryan from the Friday firm, our legal counsel on this. So they'll be here tonight for any questions anyone may have. Or if you don't want to ask them during the meeting, if you want to go up to them after the meeting, they'll be here for you to ask a question. So, council, any action?
Make a motion we adopt ordinance 12 of 2021.
Second.
I think we have to weigh the second and third first, don't we?
You know, if I made the motion, we absolutely do.
I know. I thought you just did that so we got.
I make a motion we waive the second, third reading of ordinance 12 of 2021.
I'll second that.
I got a motion from Ed, a second by James, to waive the second and third reading of ordinance number 12 of 2021. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Long.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Red.
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes.
Cope.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Waymack.
Yes.
Passes 8-0.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 12 of 2021.
I'll second.
I got a motion from James, a second by Stephen Red, to adopt ordinance number 12 of 2021. Council, would you like to discuss first or turn it over to the audience? Okay, I'm going to turn it over to the audience. Anybody for or against this ordinance would like to come to the podium and speak now?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Is this on? Okay.
ma'am.
Good evening, friends, neighbors, councilman, mayor. I'm going to turn around and speak to you guys too. My name is Susan Pryor. My husband and I moved here in 2002, and I have been a nurse and a nurse anesthetist for more than 35 years. I'm here this evening to express my opposition to the bond/tax extension. I'd like to address just a few of the items that is on this wish list, starting with the water park. There's many families here in Cabot that never have been to the water park. It costs $7 to $10 per person to use the facility. A family of four would spend close to $50 a day to use this facility. And I know several families in my church alone that have 5, 6, and yes, even 7 children. So that would cost them anywhere from $70 to $100 a day to use this facility. And that is money that they need to feed their children. Yet you expect them to pay $22 million for a water wave pool. And there was a pool here in Cabot at one time, over off of Ritchie Road. And they found that nobody would go, nobody could afford to pay for it. So they ended up just filling it in and getting rid of it. As far as your basketball, volleyball facility, and turf for the baseball fields, those are all great things. But there's a lot of families here in this town that cannot afford the hundreds of dollars in fees, uniforms, tournament fees, etc. And I know this because both my granddaughters play softball, and I know how much my daughter and son-in-law pay for them to play these games. But there are a lot of kids here in this town that do not have the money to be able to participate in these sports because their families need their money to buy new clothes and shoes for school. And yet you want them to pay for $22 million for these facilities. One item that I assumed would be free to the public was the all-inclusive playground. But that was the number one item that was going to be on the chopping block if the city didn't get their money. And how does burdening our children, my grandchildren, with $23 million in debt for an internet provider? We have billion-dollar companies out there, internet companies out there, that should and could build their own infrastructure. And yet you're wanting these taxpayers to pay for it. For the most part, I'm very supportive of the police and fire. I mean, I love the policemen, I love the firemen. However, you could send every police and fireman in the city, anywhere in the state, for training and put them up in a very nice hotel for less than $5.5 million. And yet you want the citizens to pay for a training facility. And as for the firing range, they're wanting an indoor firing range. I don't know how many of you are aware there's a private business right here in town that is building an indoor firing range less than 2 miles from the fire department. And I'm sure that the owner of the Unlimited Firearm Outfitters would be more than happy to work out a contract with the city for the police officers to use this facility. And it would cost a lot less than $1.5 million, I'm sure. I have worked the past 35 years in private, state, and federal government. And if you want something done, and if you want it done faster, better, and cheaper, then you need to outsource it to the private sector. It's easy to spend other people's money, but the Cabot government is supposed to be stewards of the taxpayer money that is paid by the citizens and thousands more of the citizens of Cabot that were not able to be here tonight. And I'm speaking for friends and family that cannot afford this 1-cent sales tax to continue on for the generations to come, for my children and my grandchildren. It is the responsibility of the government to protect the Constitution and to protect and serve its citizens. It is not their responsibility to provide entertainment for the few and the privileged. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pryor. Just to let everybody know in here, the council is not deciding if this is done tonight. If they vote yes on this, it puts it to a ballot for all of you to vote. Okay? The wave pool is only $2 million, not $22 million as well. So you have your option to vote no on any issue you like. But I just want to encourage each of you for the first question to vote yes, because that's refunding the bonds, which will basically save us 1 percentage point on millions of dollars. So that's just good, smart business. So, like I said, the council here has been listening to you like I spoke tonight, and I've been listening to you, and our city director's been listening to, and this is the list we've come up with. Our commissions have been listening to you. We're just here to say yes or no to put this on a ballot for y'all to vote. And then we will have more town hall meetings to describe exactly what we're doing. So you'll have the information to decide whether you want to vote yes or no. Any more for or against? Please state your name, and you have 3 minutes.
Jason Crumpler. I just wanted to say that I'm for this because all this is just putting it on the ballot. You guys aren't even deciding this, and I think that's just getting lost in translation for some reason. Literally, all this is just for Cabot to vote on. Give them the opportunity to vote on it. If they don't like something, they will vote against it. If they like something, it'll go for it. And I just want to kind of give an example of how good opportunities these bond issues can be. You are all sitting in a facility that was supported by a bond issue. So you will be brought together by these bond issues. It's really important that Cabot continues to grow. Mayor Kincaid talked about in his speech tonight that Cabot is growing. We're seeing a lot of opportunity in our city, and these bonds will continue to give us the opportunity. So, you know, there's no reason that this shouldn't even at least make it to the ballot. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. That was your shortest speech ever.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anyone else for or against?
I'm Carol Syme, and this is something I'd never done before, but I do not agree that dog pounds should be uptown. I think they should stay in the country, and especially if you're going to put it next to a food pantry. I mean, health-wise, that's a no-no. I also think that our federal government thinks that money grows on trees. So we should not be dependent upon the federal government for anything, because that's our taxes that we have to pay for. So we should separate our wants and needs. Our wants are extraneous. Our needs are the roads, sewers, health, things like that that we need every day, water. And with people coming to our city, we need to take care of those needs. So let's forget about all these extra things that cost extra money for families, like all these parks things. So that's all I have to say.
Anyone else? Council, anyone like to speak? Seeing none, anyone else in the audience before we take this vote?
Hey, I'm Kimberly Buckberger. I have Hope's Closet and Pantry. And, hi. I think this is I don't agree 100% with this, and like a lot of you guys and ladies and gentlemen don't, but 85% of this plan is a benefit for our community. You want good things in our community, it costs money. We might not agree with the amounts, but it costs money. So our taxes are not going to go up, is that correct?
No, it's just a rededication.
It's a rededication. We're living it now. Yes, my grandchildren are probably going to have the same tax. But if you want the amenities that you gripe about on Facebook that we don't have, and we're offering them to you as a city, then you need to vote for this. I usually don't get up and talk in front of people, but something just came up in me. You know, I've been sitting here, I've been praying about this because, you know, Hope's Closet and Pantry is growing. You know, we push out 35,000 pounds of food per month for our community. And we work hard. And no, we're not going to be inside of a dog pound. Dogs are not going to be running through our facility. We're going to be next door with walls separating us. You know, so I don't know where that ideal came from, but it is healthy for us to be there. And it's a great support to be downtown working with other pantries and pulling, because we are stronger together. We have to unite and come together as one, and we're stronger. We have an awesome city. This place is amazing. I'm a transplant from Louisiana, military. My husband's retired. And this town, we wanted to retire here because it was fun for our families. Yes, it does cost money to do things, but you're going to drive to Little Rock and put your money into Little Rock. Why not invest it into your city? And for the kids that can't afford to play sports, Hope's Closet and Pantry donates gear. We donate helmets. We donate soccer apparel. We donate the tennis shoes. If a parent walks into Hope and says, hey, I can't afford to put my kid in a sport, guess what? What size do they wear? Let's get them to a local place, and let's get them everything that they need to play this sport, and we pay for it 100%. And that comes out of great volunteers in our community that pull together as one, because we're stronger together. So, any questions?
Kim.
Yes. I'm sorry. Do I not have to ask that? I'm used
No,
to
she'd
doing
have
that.
to come up to the
I'm
podium.
sorry.
We can't. I get it. I get it.
Okay.
You were preaching
Anyway.
up there, and I got it. It was good. I was squirming around in my seat over here.
Anyway.
But
I
yes,
love my
if